Erling Haaland has himself a new club, VAR strikes again in the Premier League, Moisey has a new job, and Barca have an unsurprising replacement for Messi. All that and more, including your Emoji Mondays. I'm Paddy, again filling in for Matt, and this is your Onefootball Daily News. So hot dog, we have a winner. Yes, Erling Haaland has a new club, and the club is Borussia Dortmund. They beat off the likes of Juventus, Man United and Leipzig to land the Norwegian for around 20 million euros. This is a real coup for Dortmund given their need for more options up front, but it hasn't come cheap. As well as a 20 million to Salzburg, there is also the matter of 36 million in wages across his 3.5-year deal and the upfront fees paid both his agent Mino Raiola and his father. Man United apparently withdrew themselves after learning of these extra costs, but Haaland himself said the first conversation with Dortmund told him exactly where he wanted to be. What he does to Dortmund's title chances remains to be seen. The Bundesliga, of course, is super close this year, but all we know is that it's a fine way to start off the new year for Borussia Dortmund. Keeping with Manchester United, and they are still looking for a way to bolster their attacking threat, and there are two names that you might have heard of. First up is Moussa Dembele of Lyon. The former Celtic striker has found goals as easily to come by in Lyon as he did in Glasgow. But he won't come cheap or without competition, with Arsenal and Chelsea apparently also interested. Dembele cost £19 million in 2018 and has a hatful of goals in France's top division. So expect any English club that comes calling to pay a big price. Next is Spurs man Christian Eriksen. We all know his contract is running out in the summer, and we all know he had ambitions of joining Real Madrid in the last transfer window. His form, as a result, at Tottenham has suffered. Whether he can move to Man United in January is another story. Spurs would no doubt take a few million in the winter window if they could, but it may depend on whether Eriksen waits until summer to boost his signing power. Now to matters on the pitch, and after a big weekend of Premier League football, there are important wins for Liverpool, Man City, Man United and Chelsea, among others. But VAR stole all the headlines for all the wrong reasons, changing the result in 4 matches for what is now being called the offside armpit. Yes, offside is offside of course, but the science has now replaced the romance, and that's a problem that a lot of fans, players and coaches are having with the new VAR system. VAR is overshadowing the good stories in the Premier League at the moment, such as Manchester United's first clean sheet in over 3 months, Liverpool's 10th win on the trot, Southampton's revival, or just Spurs' general entertainment under Jose Mourinho. And of course, we don't have to wait long for VAR to get us talking again with a big program of football on New Year's Day in the Premier League. Speaking of familiar things, please welcome back to the Premier League, David Moyes. He, of course, is joining West Ham, replacing Manuel Pellegrini, who's been sacked after failing to bring the promise to that West Ham squad that the money suggested. Under Pellegrini, West Ham have won just once in 12 games. As nice enough fella as he seems to be, the loss to Leicester on Saturday seemed to be the final straw. Back comes Moyes, who of course had a stint as manager at West Ham on a short-term basis before they opted for Pellegrini. Moyes, of course, has been mostly average pretty much everywhere he's been since leaving Everton in 2013, especially Manchester United. So let's see if he has any of that old magic left. Returning to transfer news, and yes, there is a fresh angle for Barcelona and their long-running saga and courtship to bring Neymar back to the city. This is because of reports in Spain that Barca have identified the Brazilian as being the only relevant replacement for Lionel Messi when he finally hangs up the boots. Obviously, stars like Kylian Mbappe don't fit the bill for Barca, who apparently want to raise cash from the sales of Philippe Coutinho and Ousmane Dembele to bring Neymar back to the club. While Neymar says he has no good reason to leave PSG, we all know he wants to go back to Barca. But this deal and getting it across the line will not be easy for anyone. Moving to Emoji Mondays, where we of course look across the weekend at the winners and the losers and give them an emoji for their troubles. Up first is our player of the weekend, and with the Premier League the main focus, our vote goes for Kevin De Bruyne. Across 2 games from Friday to Sunday, De Bruyne picked up 2 assists and a goal. City, of course, are far from invincible as their loss to Wolves on Friday shows, but they'd be far weaker without the informed Belgian. Now to our craziest moment of the weekend, and we have to give it to the aforementioned VAR for not 1, but 4 key moments. Again, offside is offside, but there is no doubting that things have become a lot more rigid. Now we look at everything with a big yellow line running down the screen. To the performance of the weekend, and come on down Chelsea. Down 1-0 against Arsenal until the 83rd minute, the Blues scored twice in 4 minutes to hand Mikel Arteta a loss in his first match as Arsenal coach. enough said. Finally to our Friday feels, and I was way off with my predictions for the Manchester United game, the Chelsea-Arsenal game, and the Old Firm derby in Scotland. Jackson ES was one who was far more on point than I was, going for a 3-1 win for Manchester United, but getting the Chelsea result right and also the Manchester City one. So well done to Jackson. But that's it for another Onefootball Daily News. We've got one more for you before the year ends. In the meantime, we've got a video coming up with our best 11 of the decade. Make sure you check it out. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you tomorrow.